Hello, welcome back to Truthseekerstea. My name is Kate, and I first want to say I'm so thankful to have you here present for today's Pick a Card reading. We're going to be looking at what truth it's time for you to hear in regards to your current situation or circumstances. So this YouTube reading is really going to be going into objectively what the elements of your situation are and what your disposition or role is within those circumstances. And it's meant to give you a more objective view of what's really going on and what are the elements of your situation. So for the extended reading, we're going to be getting more specific advice on how to best shift the current situation for your highest good, what you're being called to do or understand. What is Spirit guiding you to realize or learn or do in this situation in order to clear up any sense of a stuck situation. So the extended is going to go more specifically into guidance for what you can do. And then we'll be also looking in the extended at how the situation is going to be shifting in the next 3 to 6 months, just to give you an idea of where things are headed in the situation. So if you really feel like your reading resonates with you, I definitely recommend checking that out if you want to. So there are 3 piles to choose from for this reading. For pile number 1, we have the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot with the clear quartz heart. For pile number 2, we have the Way of the Panda Tarot with this green fluorite palm stone. And for pile number 3, we have the Witch's Garden Tarot with the blue calcite palm stone. So it's possible that you could resonate with more than one pile. I definitely recommend we jump straight into the reading, so you should be able to figure out intuitively pretty quickly whether or not you feel like this is your energy, this is the situation, the energy of your current situation. So definitely be tuned into your intuition to make sure you've picked the right pile. And if you don't feel like it's resonating, I would try out another pile, or it's possible that another video might be better. So take whatever time you need to pick which pile you're feeling drawn to. I will have the timestamps and extended readings linked down below, along with any information about the decks and any personal information. So I'm excited for you guys to hear and get into your pile. Please let me know. As always, I love to hear your guys' feedback. If you do feel comfortable sharing, I would love that. So thank you so much for being a part of this community, and I hope you enjoy the reading. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot and the Clear Quartz Heart, this is going to be your reading, where we're going to be looking at what truth it's time for you to hear in regards to your current situation or your current circumstances that you're in. I've said currently so many times, but so I'd already pulled some oracle cards for you guys. So we're going to start off with oracle. We'll clarify with tarot. And for our extended reading, if you do feel like this really resonates, we're going to go deeper into guidance for you on how to best move forward, what you're meant to learn, and anything else that your spirit guides want to help you in regards to helping you see the path forward and what's going to be in your best interest action-wise for the situation, or potentially no action. We'll see. So I'm going to put this to the side for right now. We're going to pull out the oracle cards that I just pulled for you guys. So we have the Scorpion. So you may have fire energy in your chart. Or it could just be a time period where your fire energy is important to you, like your self-expression, even aggression and your personal will. And for some of you, you may have heavy Scorpio in your chart, or you may just be dealing with scorpionic themes right now of power, addressing your shadows and things like that. So we have Make It Look Like the Night. We have No One Is Yours But You. We have the Hound in reverse. We have the Catalyst, also in the reverse position with the Pilgrim. I'm going to take that last since it's so specific. We have Round and Round in the reverse position. We have Time to Go. We have New Life, Peace, and Regeneration. We have Journey, the Thinking Woman. We have Aries energy, so more fire energy, which is also the Ace of Wands. We have the Seven of Cups, Neptune sacrifice. So this is water sign energy, and also it gives me Virgo energy, actually, with the Hangman being a part of the Neptunian energy. So we also have Faceless Ghosts and the Haunted Girl, Ghost People. We have Miracle, Angel of Alchemy. And this is coming through really strong. I just want to lay out the cards first. So then the next thing we have is set your course, know where you wish to go, have a plan, the right direction. And then we also have surrender your fear of change. The universe is reminding you that you're cared for always. Whether you're afraid of change in your job, your health, or relationship, or if you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. So, pile number 1, I feel like what's going on, the truth of your current situation has a lot to do with, I think, your surrounding energies right now. I feel like this may be a time where you're dealing with difficult relationships or difficult situations where you may have even felt betrayed or hurt by certain people. You may have felt like certain people were wearing a mask, or maybe you even feel like in this time period that you've been in, you may have had a lot of confusion in seeing the people around you for who they are. And because of that, it may have put you in a worse position, or it could be that other people's almost deceptive energy or lack of authenticity may have ended up hurting you in some way. And I feel like there's an energy here of a repeating theme also. So I feel like whatever's been going on in your life, I feel like it's triggering wounds that may have been a part of your childhood. Because with this round and round energy, it tells me that the current situation you're in has a karmic energy to it, or there's this repeating lesson where it's meant to reoccur so you can find a way out and you can learn what the circumstances are meaning to teach you. And so I also feel like this is a situation where it definitely feels frustrating. It feels like you guys may be feeling frustrated, even like you want to isolate yourself from other people. I feel like there's an energy of distrust of other people and feeling almost slighted by others. And it almost feels like this is a situation where you have two options, and one of them would lead you to not getting out of the cycle, and one of them would lead you to finding the lesson in what's happening. I feel like the karmic energy here is one where I feel like certain people have disappointed you. I feel like you may even feel like others are getting in your way or almost intentionally sabotaging you. And I feel like there could be a potential tendency to focus on the actions of others. Oh, I have to sneeze. Excuse me. There's an energy here where I feel like, if anything, your heart space, it feels like there's a blockage in your heart chakra. And I think this has come from truly the actions of others. And so I do want to tell you that I feel like this group has been dealing with people that were meant to be challenging and were meant to cause you to have to just focus on yourself, is what I'm seeing. And I feel like there's this part of you that maybe wanted a better alliance with certain people, or you may have wished things went differently with certain people around you right now, or even opportunities. This could be in work, friendship, relationships, but the theme would be the same, that you're kind of being forced to ask yourself whether or not you're going to continue to focus on what's gone wrong and how other people wronged you and how frustrated that makes you feel. But if you stay in that energy, that's what's going to block you from learning your lesson, and also it's going to block you from growing right now. So I feel like there's an energy of feeling stagnant or feeling frustrated by your circumstances, and it's almost a time where you have no choice but to just either be closed off and frustrated, or it's an energy where you can ask yourself, what role does my energy play in this, and what can I learn from this situation? How can I minimize the effect this has had on my life? How can I almost let go of the frustrating behaviors of others so they aren't blocking me on my path? And I feel like it is also a time of you being able to kind of see other people for who they are and allow that negative experience and maybe being frustrated by that and disappointed by other people to refocus your own path on yourself and to ask yourself, okay, I can't control other people in the situation. I can't change what's happened, but what I am in control of is my own self and how I'm going to navigate the situation. And I feel like your prosperity lies on the other end of you making peace with what's happened, not by saying, oh, it's okay that other people maybe mistreated you or sabotaged you in some way. It's about recognizing what that's showing you and what you have to do now. And I feel like there's this energy here where you're needing to take a little bit more of a bird's eye view. So what's also coming to mind is the 3 stages of the Scorpio energy. And the first one is the Scorpion. And this energy is very, can sometimes be very controlled by their intense emotions. And it's almost like an energy where instead of reacting in a way that's thinking about what your goal is or what your long-term, it can be like short-term gratification over long-term gratification and a tendency to just react to what's ever in front of you and then deal with it later. And so I feel like this is a situation where you're not served by being impulsive or even letting other people get to you. I feel like there's an energy here where it's so important that you're able to remove yourself from the intensity of the situation and try to hold back from engaging in the drama of it. Because sometimes when there is frustration, it can become almost addicting to like keep our energy focused on something that bothered us, or like almost wanting, it's almost like you could start focusing your energy on spite and focusing your energy on like the drama of other people, and that just becomes really addicting. But it also gets in the way of our path and what's really important for you to focus on, and also what potential changes could be made for you to be in a better position. And so sometimes, like, I'm almost getting the energy of in a movie where there's like usually some like the villain archetype that is trying to avenge their like parent or something, or let's say that their wife or husband was killed by someone, but he was like unrelated to them, but like they kind of take on this energy of being driven by that vengeance and being, and it's like they get kind of so distracted by the drama of what's happened and the mistakes of other people that it's almost like their life goal becomes stuck to this situation that they actually is really negative for them. It's like that isn't a positive energy to be moving from, you know. It's an energy of fear and anger and like attack energy almost, and this feeling of if I focus longer on what bothers me, I'll defeat it, you know what I mean? Or there's an energy of I want to come out on top, but then there's this lesson here in this situation where you're being called to see beyond like the 5 of Swords energy, which is about that. I feel like you've been dealing with 5 of Swords energy where there's a winner and a loser, and there's a sense of competition and winning at all costs. And so I feel like you're being provoked. I feel like there's this energy where you have been provoked, and it's almost like now Spirit's sitting back and seeing what's pile number 1 going to do about this. Are they going to take this opportunity to see that it's not serving them to stay in this orbit of people, to stay focused on this? Are they going to realize that this is a sign that they maybe should shift their path? And it's a time to realize that your peace won't be found by focusing on the external circumstances, by focusing on the people, by trying to get justice. That's only going to distract you from your path and take away further from what has already been taken from you. This has already been a distraction on your path of what's been going on. And to further focus on it only puts you in this like maze of trying to find your happiness and success through the lens of the frustrating energy around you. And I almost feel like Spirit is saying that this is the time to surrender to the fact that there has been deception or you haven't been able to see things clearly. But it's also about not closing down future opportunities, and it's also about not getting so attached to this space or these people, whatever it is, staying so focused on that energy that you aren't able to see where a new journey could take you. And so we have new life and time to go. It's like there's an energy here where there's something that needs to be let go of and forgiven in order for you to truly start to find happiness and fulfillment through allowing yourself to regenerate from whatever the situation has been to a point where you're able to make the changes you need to make. And it's about implementing the lessons without hyperfixating on the wrongness of what happened. And it's about realizing at the end of the day, like, you can only control your own actions, you can only control your happiness, and at the end of the day, I guess other people are sometimes living by that very strongly. And so it's like, I feel like this is a situation potentially where you wanted more loyalty, you maybe wanted more respect and care to be given to you, but I feel like if anything, this not being given to you by the situation reiterates the fact that you are your sole protector, and to not allow other people's negative energies, like hurt people, to turn you into someone who's like that as well. Like, I feel like there's a situation here where there's an opportunity to alchemize what's happened and turn it into something that shifts your life into a more focused direction. Or it's like you could keep entertaining these ghost people, these people who attach themselves to others because they don't really have a sense of self, and there's kind of a vampiric energy about the people that I feel like have been around you. And it's about realizing that sometimes the only solution is to just let go of it and let bygones be bygones, so you can get on with your life and you can get on away from this energy, you know. And also Scorpio is about death energy as well. And so with surrender your fear of change, like, what do we need to let go of that's no longer serving us? Like, what relationship dynamics, what belief patterns are we holding on to that are limiting our ability to renew our energy and focus in a new direction that's more positive? Because we also have the Ace of Wands here. And so I feel like it's important to get space from this situation and to kind of pull back and surrender, and maybe even sacrifice what you've already worked on or what you've already invested into this point in order to free up enough energy for a new beginning. With the Ace of Wands here, you have a new potential beginning where all of this energy is going to be in the past, I feel, but the only way you get there is through realizing that we have to surrender and let go so that energy can be alchemized into something we can use. And so alchemy is all about transforming energy, and it's the realization that death and letting things end isn't truly a death. It's about realizing that within death there's rebirth. And so I feel like you're caught up right now in this energy where there may be a Ten of Swords situation, a situation that's just disappointed you or caused pain. And it's like the Ten of Swords energy is where you make peace with that, and you realize that no more pain will come from this, and you get out of this karmic cycle. You'll no longer attract this to yourself if you're able to not hold on to the karmic pattern where maybe you want to like get back at these people or you want to kind of keep focusing on them. It's about withdrawing your energy from this and realizing that, like, through doing that, your new beginning will be coming faster than you think, and your energy will only be able to shift once we actually address our feelings and don't deny. It's not about denying any of the way that this has made you feel. It's about allowing that energy to be felt, seen, acknowledged, and transmuted into something that is gonna actually serve you on your path. And if anything, wake you up to what you need to do with radical change taking control. It's like, it's about realizing that no matter what happens around you, no matter how much other people act against you or try to bring you down, like, you're always inwardly free. And so I feel like this is a test right now of you needing to remember the fact that you always have the internal power to remain sovereign, and you have the internal power to make something that happened to you as big of a deal or as little of a deal as you're able to. And I feel like your journey has been put to a halt because of this, and there's a need to tie up loose ends, to process the emotions that are keeping you stuck to a situation that's brought you frustration, that's made you feel blocked, because your expansion is through alchemizing the energy of that disappointment and that anger and turning that into renewed passion for creating what you do want is really what I'm feeling. Yeah, and we also have alchemy again at the bottom of the deck. So this is about alchemy and realizing that every opportunity in life, no matter what energy people send us, energy is energy. And if we are able to fine tune ourselves, like there's energy here of realizing that you're able to shift this, you have more power in the situation through internal shifts and changes rather than trying to control the external circumstances. Like your power is not within trying to gain control or power back in the situation. It's about recognizing your inward power that you've had the whole time. And that's your ticket to freedom. That's your ticket to not being controlled or overpowered by others. You know, to get over this sense of defeat is realizing that you inwardly you can never be defeated. And so you take back your power from the situation, the more you withdraw your energy from it. And it's also this energy that's coming through is like the opposite of love is indifference. And so it's like when we have a lot of like sort of pent up energy that we've been holding within ourselves, it still is this energetic signature of really caring. It's like you're still putting energy towards things that don't serve you, even if you feel negative about them. It's realizing that that's using up your energy, and that energy could be better used to further your path, further your passions, to give you more like divine masculine energy, which comes from the withdrawal of energy. It comes from death. It's like it's that first spurt of energy after allowing things to end, allowing yourself to just be and realize that it will flow again in time, and your treasures to be found within. And through letting go of this situation's control over you is what I feel like. Like there's this situation, it feels like it has some sort of control over you, and it's about freeing yourself from that, so you're even more free. The next time you come across this energy, you won't get as entangled in it, and you'll also be able to recognize this energy from a mile away, and you'll realize that you were in control the whole time to not get involved, and that there may have been even red flags that weren't noticed, that you'll now have stronger boundaries, stronger discernment. You'll be able to pick up on energies that are sabotaging you rather than building with you. But that only happens through really addressing the situation for what it was and saying that that was the truth of the situation. It wasn't great. I still don't appreciate what happened, but it's that freedom of no matter what happens to me in this life, like I'm the key to my own freedom. You can never truly be controlled or hurt by someone unless you allow it to be that way. And so I feel like this is you growing within your energy, growing within how quickly you're able to transmute energy, how quickly you're able to just dive right into the root of a problem and transform. That's the Phoenix energy. And so I feel like you're in this process of going through the Scorpion, the Eagle, and then the Phoenix. And the Eagle is the energy that's able to get a further look from things and see things more objectively. And the Phoenix is one that through the situation, through being thrown into the fire, they're transformed. And this is really a renewed sense of power for you as soon as you get on the other side of this. But this is what it's trying to teach you. So let's go into the tarot now. Well, let me straighten this out and make it a little more. What is the truth of pile number one's current situation? I also want to say that like the truth of the situation is the more involved you get, the more tangled it is, the less clear things are, and the more isolated and frustrated I think you'll feel. I feel like your freedom is to be found in realizing that you can transform through this, and your ability to continue your path and continue on your success is just as intact as it was before the situation. And so it's like letting go of that illusion of the control that other people have over us, and recognizing that we are in control of how much energy we're going to put towards something, And yeah, that's what I'm seeing. And it's almost like this energy of, I trusted you, but it's like realizing that that was a decision to maybe trust some of these people. It was a decision on your part to maybe not discern clearly whether or not a situation, a person, relationship, a group of people, a friend group, a relationship was it vetted enough? Was it truly in alignment with what you wanted? And I feel like moving forward, this is something you're going to learn from it. Is I feel like you're going to be more selective with who you let around yourself. And I feel like there's going to be, I'm hearing this energy too of like, fool me once, shame on me, or fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I feel like this is the energy there, where it's like your power is in realizing that sometimes there's certain betrayals that we can't prevent, but it's important to see what we are in control of and what we aren't, and to avoid getting tangled in situations that are like gonna be fruitless. You know, it's like it's fruitless to focus on the vengeance. It's fruitless to focus on the pain that a person caused you, because not every person's gonna treat you that way. And it's like, if we hold on to this energy, or like, let's say we don't deal with it and we feel like we've moved on, but deep down we still feel that resentment or that pain, then we'll not be open to other people. We'll kind of be projecting our past pains onto new opportunities, and that will be sabotaging yourself. And so there's a need here to recognize that even though this has happened to you, and it really is frustrating that it's your situation that you have to deal with now, it's still important that you do that, so this situation doesn't kind of echo in your future situations. It's time to really get to the bottom of it and make the changes, leave the things behind that no longer serve you, leave the dynamics that led to this behind, change whatever you need to change about yourself to feel more empowered moving forward. And like, let go of whatever control this has over you, and be aware of the sneaky ways that situations start to have control over us, because they prevent us from moving on or moving forward, or finding new, better things, you know? So let's get some tarot now. What is the truth of pile number one situation? We have the Five of Swords in reverse, yeah. And so the Five of Swords energy here is really strong. And I feel like when we go through a Five of Swords situation, we're left with a feeling of insecurity or self-doubt that can hold us back, so we self-sabotage. And so what I'm seeing here is this situation could lead to further self-sabotage because of what it's taught you about your worth. And it's so important to challenge the negative beliefs that this situation have ingrained into you. And we also have surrender negative thinking here. So it says you have control over your thoughts. When a negative thought surfaces, say thank you for sharing and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. And it's so important to realize how negative thoughts about a person or situation can start permeating our brain to look for the negative, or to be focused on what we can't do, and then we sabotage our potential. So that's the truth of the situation, is that it has the ability to, what I'm seeing is it's like a poison within. It's like we think it's external, we think it's more external, but then it becomes internal through our internalization of the event. What else? What's the truth of pile number one situation? We have Judgment in reverse. Yeah. It's like, until Judgment is the moment where we're at the end of our cycle, there's been a certain karmic cycle we're a part of, and it's through Judgment that we no longer go through the same cycle. And so I feel like what you're needing to see is where you sabotage yourself, or where you maybe even allow others to tell you about yourself or tell you what you're worth. But Judgment being in reverse here is telling you that the key to your freedom here is actually through your own honest self-reflection and forgiveness. Judgment's also about forgiveness and renewal and resurrection. Like, I feel like there's an energy that there's a need to get to the truth of this, so you get to that place where you see the lesson and you are no longer going to repeat it. But I feel like the unhealed energy would just be this Five of Swords, like self-limiting belief energy, through not seeing the truth of it. And I feel like the Judgment card also talks about seeing the truth of other people. Like, for example, we initially, when other people hurt us, we can think that they did it because we weren't worthy of better treatment, or we could even think that they just like hated us, or they were just the worst person, they wanted to harm us. But then through more of a higher perspective, you realize that that person was just acting out of their unconscious wounds, and things are so much less personal than we feel like they are. And like, that's the higher perspective, and you find forgiveness through that. And you also find forgiveness for yourself for what's happened to you, and for maybe allowing people to get close to you that ended up hurting you. And it's about realizing that you have the power to not feel this sense of defeat in the future. Yeah, we have 7 of Pentacles in reverse. And I feel like what this is, the truth of the situation is you're meant to see that something isn't honoring you, something isn't growing in the way you hoped. Like your energy maybe will not be returned to you. The 7 of Pentacles is all about looking at our situation and assessing it for what it honestly is and determining whether or not it's in alignment with what we want to build. And it's an opportunity to reorient yourself, to pivot and shift. So you're putting your energy towards places where there's more fertility, more growth, more positivity, and moving away from energies that feel like they're blocking our path, blocking our growth. It's like becoming real about what's blocking our growth and what attracts us to situations like that, and how can we better realize quicker in the future that something is gonna be disappointing. It's a feeling of being disappointed of what you've gotten back for the energy you've put into something. And realizing what self-limiting beliefs are perpetuating a cycle of disappointment, perpetuating a cycle of feeling like the world's against you, or feeling like nothing is going your way, and like figuring out what your own role is in it. Not saying you take on the blame of everyone else, but realizing what are the things you can do, because focusing on things you can't control or can't change aren't going to benefit you in the future, or even as you navigate this current situation. What else is the truth of pile number 1 situation, Spirit? We have the Page of Cups in reverse. Yeah, and I feel like whatever has happened here, I feel like it's blocked you from your own inner child, and I feel like it's almost like taken your innocence. Like there's an energy here of feeling a distrust towards being open and playful. And I feel like there's an energy here where you may be not open to new emotional opportunities, or there may be a need to give yourself the apology, give yourself the closure you need so your heart can feel open again. The Page of Cups for me can be this energy of a closed heart space because of past pains or past slights that are now blocking us from engaging in a playful manner, and entertaining new opportunities to connect, new opportunities to explore and create. It feels like it's blocked from the situation. There's a need for like an apology from this person or for yourself. And it's like, if you can't get the apology from this person, there's a need to give yourself the apology and give yourself closure. So you're not in this perpetual state of powerlessness and feeling defeated. We have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Yeah, and so I feel like what Spirit's saying, the Queen of Wands in reverse can be a energy of resorting to anger or frustration when they feel insecure. And so I feel like Spirit is wanting you this situation is a moment to reflect on how your own confidence and your own sense of worthiness impacts your interactions with others, and how it also impacts what you engage with, what you accept from other people. And so I feel like Spirit's really saying this is an opportunity to see yourself more clearly, even maybe see where there was emotional naiveness, or even a sense of maybe turning to relationships for self-esteem, using relationships for self-esteem, but realizing at the end of the day you're solely responsible for your feelings of self-worth, your feelings of self-love. And so those are all themes of the situation. And that's going to dictate more than anything else what you are able to create in this world. It's so much more how we feel within rather than how other people treat us. Like that's irrelevant to our power and our truth. And I feel like the Queen of Wands in reverse is still learning that. Yeah, we have the World here. And then also we have the 6 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, so I feel like there's just past energy here. Yeah, 8 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune. I feel like there's past energies that are making it difficult for you to move on. And so the World here talks about the end of a cycle and learning your lesson. And so I feel like what Spirit wants you to know is that this is a moment to reflect on everything that's happened, to digest the emotional content of it, to come to higher truths based on what's happened, so you can put this cycle to an end, so you can better be able to reach your goals next time, so you can have more clarity on what mentality you need internally to be more successful, for things to come to fruition better. And it's about leaving the past energy behind and recognizing that you are always fresh and new to explore a new path. Like, you're always in control of where you put your energy, and that's so much more powerful than a focus on how other people are treating you or how the world's responding to you. And the Queen of Wands also is confident in who they are and their fire energy, despite how others respond to them. And they aren't quick to feel insecure if other people don't think they're all that, you know? It's this internal confidence that shines and actually makes you protected from energies that maybe suck you in and then, you know, make you feel insecure, is how I'm feeling. It's like there's just this energy here where it's like when we are not sure of ourselves, we give our power away to other people. And we maybe invest in situations for too long that had red flags, or we don't see the truth of situations because we may want someone else to see us as worthy, or we may be wanting to gain the approval of other people, something like that, but it ends up limiting your own power. All right, to finish up the reading, I'm just going to get a couple of these guys just to see what the root of this situation is. What is the root? What internal shadow work or what energy is this external situation bringing up in pile number 1? What are the themes of the lessons here? It says, it is now safe to acknowledge my fear of being perceived as crazy from my unique perspective of the world. I choose to remember that my story is an expression of who I am, plus when I honor what's true for me in every moment, I give myself permission to align with the experiences most helpful and relevant to my authentic being. And so I feel like there's this energy here of you becoming more confident in what makes you different, feeling less pressure to fit into a box to get other people's approval. And when you're not feeling like you're going to be judged, or you're not afraid even if people do judge you, then you're much more able to express yourself authentically. And you're also able to more quickly and easily align with situations that would honor your truth, that would honor your uniqueness, your unique power. And through being confident and just showing who you are and what you need, what your boundaries are, what you want, and not trying to get the approval of people, then the quicker you show who you are, you will more quickly repel those that were not going to be good for you, and you'll attract people that want to honor your truth, that want to honor and respect you for who you are, and want to understand you too. That there are people that will understand you. We have it's now safe to allow myself to believe that there may exist a future version of myself that may have found growth and solace in the pain. Yeah, and so for some of you that are feeling really lost right now, or feeling very confused about everything you're going through, Spirit's telling you that through realizing that there is a lesson to this, that you will come out on the other end stronger, better. It will help you transition faster. So it says, I choose to remember that finding the good within the bad does not in any way minimize the impact of the challenges I've faced. When I give myself permission to embrace the existing pain, doors open where there were once only walls. This is a really strong energy I'm getting for you guys, and this is that Scorpio energy where if we focus on what's gone wrong without seeing the potential growth that comes from the pain, we limit what our pain is able to do for us, and we limit being able to see the silver lining. Spirit's encouraging you to see the silver lining of the situation and realize that there may be a future self that feels a lot more at peace with what happened, but it's not to say, again, I like that it says you don't need to minimize the impact. And when you fully allow yourself to process the pain, that's where the doors open. And so I love it. It says, when I embrace the existing pain, doors open where there were once only walls. And it gives me that energy of someone who like has something to say or is like really frustrated, and it's like the moment they open up, things start to shift and break up. It's about not letting our pain crystallize within us and get so stubborn of protecting the story of our pain and the story of who we feel our pain made us. That can become our entire personality, and it's about not letting that happen, you know? So this is what it also says. It says, I forgive myself for thinking it means anything about me at all should one of my loved ones experience challenge. I choose it is safe to trust those I care for to grow resilient through the experience of difficulty so that they may realize their strengths. And I feel like this may even be a need for you to recognize that there's blessings within challenging situations. It doesn't mean that they don't hurt, but it is important to recognize our own ability and other people's ability to, and actually need for challenging situations. There's a need to make mistakes and mess up, because we learn through that. And so it's about realizing that sometimes situations being challenging, situations that take our security away actually make us stronger. And it's like, without those challenges, we wouldn't evolve. And it's also giving me like Spirit's talking about like evolution here, where it's like, we're all about change. And this whole life of evolution and growth came from there being challenges in the environment. It came from there not being enough of a resource. And it's like, security is nice on a level, but when we're trying to find security over growth, we limit ourselves and our potential. So that's what I'm seeing here. And also with the no one else is yours but you, it may even be that like other people's negative energy and like their mindset is something that you're not able to do anything about. And so it's a time to recognize that as much as you may want to help other people even, or you may even in this situation really wish someone was picking differently, or someone you care about may be hurting you by them not being on their highest path. And it's about recognizing that they will be able to find their way through it, and to not tack yourself onto their energy and take on the challenges of other people and let it erode your path. It's about recognizing that it's more important to focus on what work you have to do than focus on other people and how they need to change and how they need to grow. It's like then you limit your own ability to focus on yourself and your own path, and you're not responsible to help other people with lessons that only they are meant to help themselves through. So I hope that makes sense. So now we're going to be looking at getting more specific guidance on how you can navigate the situation, what you're being guided to do, what you're being guided to learn here. And then we'll also look at how the situation is going to be shifting in the next 3 to 6 months, like what you're going to be seeing in the future, how things are going to kind of fall and settle into place. So if that sounds helpful to you guys, I'll have that linked down below. And other than that, this is what I have for the YouTube reading. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys do have an extra second to hit the like button, I do really appreciate that. And I also love to see your guys' feedback in the comments. So thank you to every person that leaves comments. And if you guys want to see more guidance and love readings, I would love for you guys to join the community through subscribing. That way you'll be able to see when future pick a card readings come up from this channel. So I hope to connect with you again sometime soon. I hope that you guys are doing well, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hello, pile number 2. If you chose the Way of the Panda Tarot with this green fluorite crystal palm stone, this is going to be your reading where we're looking at what it's time for you to hear in regards to your current situation or current circumstances. So I pulled quite a few oracle cards just a moment ago, so let's dive into those and then we'll look at tarot to get more details. So this reading is really going to focus on illuminating the truth of your situation, where you stand in your situation, what's going on around you. And then in the extended reading, we're going to be getting more specific guidance on what Spirit's calling you to do, what action or non-action to take in order to shift the energy of the current circumstances for your betterment. So the extended is going to be a little bit more specific into what you can do. This is more of a look at what's happening. And then we'll also be looking at what's changing, what energy you're going to be in 3 to 6 months from now, and the extended as well, just to see where the situation's headed. So if you really feel like this is your pile, I would definitely check that out if you feel like it. So I'm going to put this to the side for right now. So by the way, the energy of this group is very divine feminine. It's just coming through really strong. So if you guys resonate with that, I feel like this probably is your pile. Of course, keep listening for your intuition to see if this feels like your situation. But this has the energy of a divine feminine that's being called to step into her power and to not underestimate herself. So we have the golden egg. And there's such power in this group's heart energy. Like, I feel like this is a group that really moves with their heart and manifests through their care and love for people. And There's like a gentle nature to this group, but nonetheless a very powerful energy. And I feel like this could be a lesson of you fully learning what your power is and where that can be best used. So we have the botanist, parenthood, legacy. We have the guide, inheritance, correction. And we also have the chiromancer, delivering news and collaboration. We have gifts to the portal, ungrateful daughter and earthly mother. We have storm warning. With the seventh chakra, Archangel Uriel in the reverse position. We have transition to the spirit realm. You see clearly, clairvoyance. I definitely think this group is also spiritually gifted. Very strong intuition in this group. I wouldn't be surprised if you have water energy in your chart. So Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, or even an earth energy to you guys. We also have fairy of the divine hand, intoxication, distorted view, overindulgence. All right, let me just move these a little bit. We have follow your own and good advice, trust yourself, know what's best for you. We have wake up, it's your moment. We have the Emperor, Mars energy, force. We have Ace of Cups, water element sensing, and Ten of Swords, South Node, life debris. Yes, okay, so what's coming through for the truth of this energy that Spirit wants you to hear and understand? I feel like this may be a pile of light workers. I feel like this is a group that may be working on generational karmas, and essentially being in this lifetime to correct those. What Spirit wants you to know about yourself in regards to the situation is that you're actually the antidote and the solution to whatever troubles are going on around you, whatever patterns of maybe addiction, sort of, I'm getting devil energy here. And the devil energy is an energy where we aren't in touch with our connection with abundance. And so I feel like from the devil's energy, things like greed, violence, moments where winning at all costs, or it's what encourages people to act in a damaging way in this lifetime. It's a fear-based, motivated energy. And I feel like this group is not like that. I feel like if anything, this group is has been intentionally placed in whatever environment you're in. This could be something that's been with you since childhood. So you guys may have been like the black sheep of the family, or you guys may have been like the more wise children to parents, you know, like you maybe were very aware of the ways that people were acting in fear-based ways that you were like born into. And so there's this energy here where it feels like this is an era of you realizing what the purpose of your sensitivity, what the purpose of your energy has been. This is a moment of you waking up to your power and learning what your purpose is, learning what you're meant to create. And it even feels like there's just this energy here of being the chosen one, or being the one who, I'm getting like the archetype of the Arthur, who like the whole town, like they have like a system, they have like the person that was the most likely to wield the sword. And like, I feel like whoever was, I don't know, maybe the prince was probably expected to be the one to be able to do it. But I'm seeing this energy where like the most expected person to step up and lead is actually not capable. And the person who's unexpected to be able to have power in the situation and to help people and to guide people is the person that's unexpected. And so the current situation here is that you actually are someone that doesn't see necessarily your own power, the own power of your wisdom. And I feel like you also maybe have never had people like really appreciate you. Like there's this energy here where you've always been this way. You've always been very wise, and you've always had a lot of leadership qualities to you, but it's almost like the energy of the person who really deserves to have the power, doesn't fight for the power, doesn't really want the power. And so I'm just seeing, though, that it almost maybe has led this group to take a passive role in a lot of situations where it's almost like you guys would see the root of the problem from a mile away. You guys would see what shifts would be helpful in a situation, but because of being so loving and non-controlling and not looking for power, I feel like there's been instances where you hold yourself back from speaking up, like the truth that you already see, or speaking up for what's best for you, or even I feel like you guys would be able to see corruptive forces, but there's almost this energy of you not wanting to get involved or not wanting to rock the boat or draw any unnecessary attention to you. But what I'm seeing is that the current situation around you is actually requiring you to avoid escaping. So there may be a feeling here of you wanting to kind of escape from the problems around you or some sort of chaos around you, especially with this storm warning. But there's also this feeling that right now in your intuition, you already have the answer or you already know what you need to do. It may just be a lack of confidence or a fear of stepping up and taking the action you need to take, speaking what you need to speak in this situation. And so this reading is here to tell you that whatever you already see in this situation, listen to your intuition. Your intuition has already warned you about the inevitability of this situation. And so it's almost like the sooner that you're able to acknowledge this truth instead of escape from the truth of the situation, the better the outcome could be and the less destruction that will happen. Like the more present you're able to be with this situation, the better is what I'm hearing. And you may feel encouraged to, even though it's almost like when you know, let's say like you're in class or something and your teacher like forgot a certain like rule in math or something like that. Like imagine that someone like forgot like the Pythagorean theorem and it's like they're supposed to be the teacher in the room, but they forgot it and you're sitting there and like you already know the answer, but like a part of you doesn't speak up. Or even in movies sometimes when like the really smart kid that's like going to be the like Percy Jackson, it's just coming to my mind, or like, but there's a lot of stories where the person that has the knowledge is kind of quiet. But there's this energy here like that, where it's like you already know where someone went wrong. You already know how things are going to unfold. But it's almost like the fact of you stepping up and speaking for this and asserting yourself. Like you're the most humble and grounded person in whatever circumstance you're in. You're also the person with the most wisdom on what's going to happen and what would be helpful, what would be a helpful solution. And so I feel like here it's a time where it's like this energy of you really fully seeing the power of your intuition and the power of your innate senses of information. It's like you guys are very intuitive with you see clearly clairvoyance. This is a card that's saying you already know the answer. You already know. And even though you maybe it isn't logical and maybe a lot of other people don't understand either, but don't let that cause you to doubt yourself or cause you to doubt what you already know to be true, even if you can't explain it. And so I'm just seeing here that there could be a tendency, especially we have the Empress energy here with the Venus in love, where I feel like you may want to go for the more like loving route. You guys may just rather be gentle, rather like not add to any chaos, or maybe you guys like to stay out of things. But I am seeing here there's actually an opportunity for leadership in whatever the situation is around you. And you're actually the best person to step up and take the lead and help navigate the challenges of whatever has created the situation. So I feel like there is there's something here that's coming. Like I'm just getting this omen of like something's approaching maybe faster than you want it to. And what this could mean is maybe there's a moment where you're going to have to speak up for what you want. Maybe you're going to have to speak up against some kind of force that if you don't will like undermine you. There's just an energy here where it's important to not go with the flow too much and to not underestimate your own influence on the situation. You actually have a really strong ability to influence the situation. And I feel like with the the seventh chakra being here in reverse, I feel like it's a divine feminine's tendency to not be drawn in by the drama of life, because the seventh chakra is all about the understanding that everything's unfolding in unison and everything is working in your favor. But sometimes that can lead to not realizing that your own will and your own decisions are a part of that perfect order, and to not underestimate your own influence on the everything is what I'm kind of getting. So imagine like the seventh chakra is like being able to see everyone as interconnected, being able to see that nothing's personal, being able to see all of that, but it doesn't mean you don't engage with the world. And so I feel like sometimes this group has found solace in sort of not getting involved, or not, even though you have the answer, even though you are the best for the job, not wanting to deal with people who are like fighting for control. It's like, I don't want to be a part of this power game, but sometimes we're required to step into our emperor energy and step into this energy of protection. Like the emperor protects. The emperor also is in an energy that, imagine it being like a kingdom. They're always looking out for threats and making adjustments in order to make sure that the people are protected and have everything they need for the foundation to keep growing. And so I feel like here you're in a position where you actually are, it would be best for you to step up into a leadership energy, step up into doing what needs to be done, saying what needs to be said. And it may even be that there's other people that would benefit from you standing up for whatever you see, whatever you believe, whatever you're picking up on. There's an energy here that there may be people around you that are very caught up in the devil energy, like control and getting caught up in earthly energies. Because I'm seeing this ungrateful daughter. I want to read that because I feel like this is you in the situation. So it says, humble mother, she always gives love to her daughter. She knows where she was birthed. Even her daughter has become spoiled by the ways of the material world and has inflated herself and her ego to make her appear much larger. But the mother, grounded in earth, will always see past her temporary whims, give her love and kiss her hand, sending her wishes that she may find wisdom and connection to earth. You're like the cord to what needs to happen. Like you're the person that's in touch with your heart space. You're the person who's going to make the decision that's for the greatest good of everyone. And it may even be that you see around you someone who is acting selfishly, someone who's seeing through their ego. Like there may be someone you're dealing with where you're being encouraged to stand up and not be a doormat in the situation, not let anyone else be a doormat, and maybe see what chaos this person might cause. And there might be a need, even though it isn't your problem necessarily to fix, you happen to be in the situation where you have the power to assist this situation. You have the power to see this situation clearer than anyone else, and actually, you know, it's time to step into your power is essentially what I'm getting. And so I see this like lead the way, be a leader, show others how it's done. You can help others. There's a need to not doubt your ability to lead, not doubt your ability to help other people with their emotions and whatever gifts you have innately are useful in this situation. And so it's about not letting the forces who just have louder voices influence everyone just because they want the power. And it's about standing up for what's right here and trusting that it's like, who am I to lead? Who am I to speak up? Who am I to take this action? You're actually the best person to do it, is kind of what I'm feeling. So if there's a situation where it's like you may be tempted to just kind of close your eyes or just move away from it, there's something you can do here to improve the outcome for everyone involved. So it's about not stepping down. It's about not hiding away from this due to not wanting to put a spotlight on yourself or not wanting to bother other people. This is a time to be self-assertive and not worry about who's going to disagree with you. It's about trusting your insight, your ideas above anything else, and not letting anyone make you think that you're ineffective in this moment, or not letting anyone make you play small. This is a moment to not play small. And trust that you'll be rewarded for it. Okay. Let's get some more. And there's also an energy here of almost wishing you had more time before you have to take some kind of action. Almost just wishing things would resolve themselves. But it's almost this moment of anyone else in your position would probably just maintain the cycle of whatever's going on here. But you're the person who's able to bring more love in the situation. You're the person who's able to rightfully stand up here. And because of that, that's what is the best thing to do. Like, that is what is in alignment with everyone, is kind of how I feel, if that makes sense. That is like the best thing, you know? And there may be people who have made you feel like if you step out and like assert your power, like that you'll have punishment. But it's about not being afraid of that, because it feels like whatever's coming is inevitable anyways. You know, like there's something breaking down with the Ten of Swords. Something like past life with life debris. There's negative karma in this situation that isn't your fault, but you're dealing with it in this situation. And you're going to be the fastest to know what needs to be done, is how I feel. So how to create peace, how to be true to your heart and not your ego. It's like there's people around that are more true to their ego than their heart. And so they're not the best to lead. They're not the best to trust, you know. So trust yourself. Don't trust what anyone else is trying to get you to do or trying to get you to be involved in. This is time to be self-sovereign and to be strong in yourself. So I'm going to get a sip of water and then we'll go into what else with tarot. All right, so what does pile number 1 need to know about the truth of their current situation? We have the King of Cups. Yeah, you have this emotional maturity, this emotional intelligence that's required in the situation. We have the Page of Swords in reverse. We have the Three of Cups in reverse. Yeah, there may be a group of people or some kind of a community that isn't really working well together. Yeah, it may be that there's just like a lot of competition in a certain situation, or gossiping, or just like negative group energy where it's like people are acting off these emotions that are from like an emotional maturity. I feel like you may have emotionally mature people around you too. What else is the truth of pile number 1 situation? We have the Nine of Wands in reverse, the Ten of Cups in reverse. Here, I feel like there's maybe it's a group of people or a work situation, something in your family, or even just a relationship. But I am getting more of a group of people here where it's almost like no one's seeing what needs to be done. Like with the Page of Swords, it's all about being open to new ideas, and like adjustments are required, is how I feel in this situation. And with the Nine of Wands in reverse, you're being encouraged to be resilient and to not underestimate your power to persevere through these obstacles, and to trust whatever insights you have into what's going to go wrong with the situation. Because the Ten of Cups in reverse reveals to me a situation that isn't going to end up well, isn't going to end up in fulfillment. Yeah, is what I'm seeing. Let's get one more for pile number 1. What's the truth of pile number 1 situation? Eight of Cups in reverse, yeah. And then the Nine of Swords also in the reverse position. So I feel like there's a need to overcome whatever anxieties you have in regards to what's going to happen. And I feel like with the Eight of Cups in reverse, it's like there's certain people around you who aren't going to make the decision that needs to be made. It may even be that there's an emotionally unfulfilling dynamic between people where no one's recognizing that it isn't conducive to happiness, that there's a lot of fears and negative thinking that are impacting the way this is progressing. Yeah, with the Seven of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles, it's something here where like you're able to see more clearly than anyone in this situation that there may be a need to make adjustments in order for things to grow better. You may even be seeing some kind of imbalance in priorities around you. Like people maybe are not prioritizing certain energies that would bring balance in the situation. But yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of fear and people who don't really want to see the truth of the situation leading it. And it's like you see the truth. And it's because of your emotional maturity and your emotional intelligence, you have the answer, is just what I'm feeling. And it may even be that you want to walk away from the situation. So trust yourself if that's what you feel like you need to do. But whatever you need to do, whatever you feel like is right in your heart is what you should do, is what I'm feeling. I want to see, what's this Three of Cups? What's the influence of this Three of Cups here, Spirit? Six of Wands. Yeah, it may be people who are just like really caught up in their ego or are more afraid of how they look on the outside than how a situation feels on the inside. And that may be causing this short-sightedness to what's actually going on. So there's almost this need to get real. Like, I feel like you're the person who has the strength to really address the problems head on and not ignore the problems of the situation. Yeah. All right, let's get a couple more oracles, and then we'll go into the extended to see what specifically, we'll go more into what action Spirit wants you to take, what like leadership, what that means for you. And then we'll be looking at how the situation is shifting anyways in the next 3 to 6 months. I'm hearing it doesn't take rocket science to see that something's wrong, but it may be that other people are blinded by their egos. It's the same energy of the ungrateful daughter card, where it's saying like, people become inflated due to like their desire for wealth or their desire for status. And it's like, it causes them to engage in these energies that aren't really emotionally fulfilling, but like they're fulfilling to the ego. What is the truth of pile number 1 situation, or pile number 2 situation here, please? We have use your mind wisely, act as if. We have trust in the magic. And then surrender now. So with use your mind wisely, I feel like Spirit's saying like, instead of, they're pointing you to recognize the strength of your mind, your intelligence, not underestimate what your thoughts are telling you about the situation. But it also is to keep in check any like really intense, fearful thinking. And with the chameleon Spirit, act as if, Spirit's telling you that this may be a situation that's pushing you out of your comfort zone, but your best bet is to just fake it until you make it almost, and just step up and lead, and you'll figure out the situation. Don't doubt yourself. Trust in your own magic, trust in your own intuition and what it's telling you to do. And also beware of your mind. Like, there's kind of an energy here of where sometimes we are intuitively guided to see a certain truth or take some kind of action, but then our mind can make us second guess what we feel to be true. So beware of where your mind is maybe second guessing yourself and causing you to doubt yourself or causing you to not take the action that you need to take. This is about trusting that you have within you what you need to be successful in this situation, or to bring success to yourself at the very least. So I want to find the use your mind wisely and see if there's any other message there. So it says, Pig Spirit is to remind us of the right use of intelligence, a gift we all have that is meant to be used with love, compassion, and discernment. Intelligence means recognizing the value of intuition partnered with smarts, common sense, which leads to intelligent solutions. When Pig Spirit appears, you're called to respect your analytical mind and use it for the highest good. Recognizing all facts must be considered even when they do not fit in with what you already knew. Yeah, so it's about not letting your mind discount what your intuition is telling you, even if it feels like an outlier, or even if it's like, oh, logically it doesn't make sense, but intuitively I know it's true. So it says, Spirit blesses us with wisdom when we allow Pig Spirit to nudge us into open-minded, thoughtful dialogues, whether with others or internally, as we mull over our ideas and what we have come to understand. You are intelligent and capable of clear-minded thinking, shaped by the wisdom you've accumulated in the intuition that will tell you when you have more learning to do, because not all facts are in. Now is the time that your decision-making powers are reliable, for they are in alignment with the Pig Spirit's intelligence. Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing here, is like you have the perfect potential here to help any blocks that logic is causing right now. Like, there's just this energy here where there's a need for exploring new ideas, shifting, being open-minded, making decisions. It's also about learning. It's about sorry, I don't know, I'm like yelling now, but I'm just saying, don't turn away from this situation you'll find a new solution here is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that there's more to be discovered in this situation. So keep an open mind for solutions, potential solutions here. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. We're definitely going to get more specific in the extended to see what you can do moving forward, like what specific action or lesson does Spirit want you to learn through this? What do they want you to step into here? What opportunity is this? And how is it shifting in the near future? That's what we're going to be looking at. So I'll have that link down below if you want more guidance. But other than that, this is what I have for the extended reading. The YouTube reading. If you guys did find value and you have an extra second, I would love if you guys could hit the like button. It really supports the video and the channel. I love to see your guys' feedback through comments. If you guys are willing to do that, I appreciate every single one. And if you guys want to see more love and guidance readings, I would love for you to join the community and subscribe so you're able to see future pick a card readings from this channel. But other than that, I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope to connect with you again sometime soon. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Witch's Garden Tarot and the blue calcite palm stone, this is going to be a reading where we're going to be looking at what it's time for you to hear in regards to your current situation, your current circumstances. So I've pulled quite a few oracle cards and I'm just going to lay them out. And what's interesting about this group is that I tried to film this yesterday, but I ended up getting a migraine. But along with the migraine, there was this feeling of me kind of wanting to procrastinate on filming the reading and almost not really wanting to step in and kind of sort this out. And so I feel like this kind of reflects the energy of your current situation. There could be a feeling of frustration with your current circumstances and not really wanting to have to engage with them, but engaging with them is important to get through the other side of to make harmony within a group or make harmony within a relationship. There's a need to put in the energy to express your truth, even if it's going to be different from other people, even if you're dealing with people that may be frustratingly different from you. I feel like there's this energy of it still being necessary for you to engage with it honestly and vulnerably, even though it may feel like a headache or it may feel kind of frustrating to do that. So I also want to let you know that for some people, I definitely think this could be your situation, but I also think some people listening may have picked this pile because this is someone that Spirit wants you to understand better, like what their energy is in the situation. So you may be a part of this situation, but you may not be the energy that's being focused on, but you may be relevant to the situation, or you may know this person, you may know pile number 3, and it may be just important for you to listen to get their perspective on it. But for others of you, this will definitely just be your pile. So just keep your intuition intact as to whether or not you feel like this is your energy or an energy of someone that could be your person or someone that you're involved with in this situation. So I just want to let you guys know that I feel like for this group, I am getting a more masculine energy, but you could be a female that's just been in a more masculine energy for a while. And it may be that the muscle of your feminine energy, like vulnerability and connecting with other people, like that cooperation female energy, like the female energy is more of the group energy and the masculine is more of the I energy. So I feel like where feminine focuses on the we, the masculine focuses on the I. And I feel like this group has had a focus for a long time on I, your own ambition, your own path, focusing just on yourself. So maybe there's like a bachelor energy or bachelorette energy, someone that's kind of been single and solitary for a long time, and this has worked for you. I feel like you've gained a certain level of success, but I also am getting like an energy of maturing and moving from one stage of your journey in this life to another, where you may have been in like the knight energy, but I feel like you're moving now into like king energy or page energy to queen energy. And it's kind of like the transition of being someone who's maybe getting older. You don't have to be, but there's an essence of maturing and having to adjust your energy to the change of times, the change of your age as well, is what I'm seeing. So I just want to get a sip of water. I'm really thirsty. But let's see what's come through. So we have the otter energy. We have lion and buffalo. So we have earth, water, and fire energy here. So that may be your sign. You may have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You may have Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. And I'm seeing that it's almost like, if anything, I feel like this group would be more dominant in their earth and fire energy. And it feels like your water energy is something that you're trying to that spirit is pushing you to reconnect with right now. And so I feel like some of you may have been so focused and determined on like your individual goals, like your ambitions, being diligent, being logical, where you may have lost touch with your inner child. And that may be a blockage right now for connecting with others who are more in this playful water energy. Yeah, so let's keep going. We have keep your temper. Don't allow anger to rule you. We have set your course, know where you wish to go, have a plan, the right direction. We have we're all mad here, everyone's a little bit different. And so with this group, I feel like the truth of your situation is that you're interacting with people who are maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone, or you may have lived a life where you've kind of pressured yourself to be more practical and serious. And so a part of you has put so much value in yourself, in being someone who's self-assured, being someone who's logical. And so if you're interacting with more unique people that have kind of not turned away from their eccentricities and like their sort of weird energy, that may be something that's a little bit uncomfortable for you to interact with. And this keep your temper card really talks about Alice, the frustration that Alice feels in Alice in Wonderland, where she's frustrated by the strangeness of everything in Wonderland and how she doesn't feel like she relates. And it's almost like the energy here of misunderstandings and frustration built from that, and almost just wanting to quit on engaging with other people. Maybe be feeling like you just want to kind of isolate yourself and not deal with people who have energy that's different from you. But I feel like the truth of your situation is you're being called to reconnect with the part of you that's also eccentric, that's also weird. We all have weirdness in us. And the more we embrace that within ourselves, the more we're able to not only tolerate it in other people, but value it in other people. So we also have 3 of Cups, 11th house friendship. We have Judgment, Saturn's return, age. I'm gonna put this here. And this lion energy talks about someone who's very advanced in themselves. So I feel like this group, I feel like you guys are very strong, independent, resilient people who have put so much focus on self-development that I feel like you are very hard on yourself as well. And I think there's an energy of pride here and a regality to you, where some people may even feel intimidated by your energy. And right now there's a feeling of reconnecting with the group, realizing that as you age and you complete some of your own personal goals, we then, in the later part of our lives, it's about our legacy and it's about our purpose. And I feel like the truth of your situation is that your purpose and your greatest potential involves collaborating with other people. It involves switching from the focus of I to the focus of we, and getting a broader perspective of the impact you can have and what achievement can look like for you as you begin to incorporate society's what's best for society into what's best for pile number 3. And I feel like the blockage here is the trouble of that switch and the fact that it requires a more flexible, open energy to group energy. And within groups, there's always going to be different kinds of people. But what's happening is that as you're aging and as you're developing and changing, this next phase of your life is one where you're not going to be served by trying to do things alone or trying to isolate yourself or pushing other people away. You're being encouraged to see how you can actually benefit from certain people that maybe you didn't. And this isn't in a bad way. It's more like we all have our own values and we value certain things in ourselves. And so we also kind of reflect that outward to other people. So it's almost like if we don't value more eccentric personalities or different kinds of people, we may be cutting ourselves off from the gifts they have to share with us and what we have to share with them. And so I feel like you're benefited in this situation if you're able to release control a little bit and be open to different ideas, open to different kinds of people, open to how can I compromise? I feel like compromise energy is what you're being pushed into, even if it's frustrating, even if it's something that you'd rather just avoid, or you just don't want to have to deal with it. But I feel like Spirit's telling you that your path forward involves dealing with it, quote unquote, dealing with the group, dealing with people's eccentricities, and not wanting to shame that part of yourself or others, and seeing that the person still potentially has value to you on your path. And it's about realizing that other people can support you in your success and in your journey. And it's like you need others to, at this point, your own development depends on your connection with other people, is what I'm feeling. And it's like you can't achieve everything alone. And so I'm even getting this energy of almost like an older generation, like, it's like Gen Z, Gen X, like all of the different generations. I'm getting this energy of you being in an older generation and having to deal with the changes that come with the next generation below you. And how they have shifted their norms, how they have different norms. But it's almost like a collaboration between two generations, is what I'm feeling is a part of your situation. And the more you can kind of get with it and flow with the change of the times, because I'm hearing times are a-changing. And I feel like the more we resist that, the more difficult it's going to be for you to build your legacy. We also have the Hermit with Virgo, I analyze. So Virgo energy is here. We have Capricorn energy with Saturn, and then Sagittarius with, I'm just getting Sagittarius vibes from this Three of Cups. But yeah, with the 11th house, it's like moving. I feel like you guys have already aced the 10th house. Like 10th house is all about your reputation, your status, building up your respect for yourself, becoming respected in your field or whatever you do. And it comes with age and maturity. And I feel like you've already mastered the 10th house, essentially. And it's now time to move from your own success to success of the society as a whole. And to remember that you're not isolated in this world, that there is the I world of pile number 3, but then there also is what other growth is possible for you, and what can you contribute to the society as a whole. Is what I'm seeing. It's really a transition from the 10th to the 11th house. It's broadening your interests, broadening what achievement and success looks like to you, rather than it just being about your career, your life. It's time to expand that to the impact you have on society. And in order to have that impact, there's a need to like know the people. And so I'm even getting this energy of like a political energy here almost, where it's like, you may already be of high status in some category, but then it's like you're ruling over people, that it's important to know your people. And I'm getting like the difference of like a government that's like democratic and like a monarch, where the people aren't as important in that society because it's just the kings and the queens kind of calling the shots, and it doesn't really matter how that's affecting or benefiting the people. But I feel like you're being encouraged to take your leadership as a role where you're taking into account everyone else in the society, is what I want to say. So there's always enough. We have tend to the small things. We have co-create with Spirit. And what I'm hearing here is like, with tend to the small things and there's always enough, I feel like there's a message here of the truth of your situation is that in order for you to be co-creating with Spirit, in order for you to have the backing of the universe, I'm really hearing what is for the best of the good of all, not just me. And when you start to act in your masculine energy for the benefit of the highest good of all, then that means that there's no person who's too insignificant. There's no task that isn't worthy of your attention. And I'm seeing here that you're actually being encouraged to dive into the nitty-gritty of your situation, to really get to know the people, get to know the perspectives of others. Don't push people away because you don't feel like it's significant enough to interact with, is kind of what I'm getting as well. And with there's always enough, this is saying how you can always afford to lend a hand of help. You can always afford to share your energy with people, and you will always be given back that energy. And so it's like the more you give, the more you get. And I feel like you're being encouraged to be generous with your energy. We also have higher power, which for me is really saying like, you're in this, the truth of your situation is that you're being called to shift towards working on behalf of a higher power, of the divine, who's looking out for every person. And how instead of making your focus, or like what you focus on, to be something that is more specific and grounded as a very specific goal, you're being encouraged to shift your energy towards flowing with whatever spirit's calling you to do. It's almost this energy of you can't be too predetermined in what your goal is, because there's a need to be a little bit more open to the energies of what the divine is showing you in each moment, and to not ignore nothing at this time is not worthy of paying attention to. And it's also this energy of as long as your relationship with, this is about nurturing your relationship with the divine and being a co-creator, and realizing, number one, you don't have to do everything alone, and spirit's actually wanting to pull people into your sphere, your circle. I want to say your council, that are going to actually benefit you. So don't prejudge anything as not useful or not worthy of paying attention to, because everything is in alignment. Like the people that you're attracting into your life, it's not for no reason, is what I'm getting. We also have chaos and conflict in reverse. And so for me, this is saying like to not run away from situations where people have different perspectives, where it may require a time to really hear other people out and to assert your truth, even if you know that it's going to be something that may require a little bit of work or extra communication, or there may even be some like challenges or some argumentative energy that needs to be embraced and not neglected, or not there's an energy here of like, let's say, I'm gonna get a sip of water. I don't know, I'm so thirsty, but sorry, I just hit the microphone. But it's like, let's say that you're in a group of people and everyone's trying to figure out where you want to go to eat, and let's say you want to go somewhere different than other people, and like because other people don't want to go to the place you want to go to, there's this energy of like, I don't even want to go then, you know? But then it's like, then you miss out on that experience just because things are maybe not fitting into your expectation of where you wanted to go. Or maybe you're being pushed to try a different restaurant and you're like, no, I don't want to embrace like that experience. I don't want to explore different cuisines because I know what I wanted, and now that like the group doesn't want to do that, like I'd rather just stand my ground and then say, well, I'm not going to go then, you know? But then it's like, it's the energy of that. It's the energy of missing out on opportunity because of almost wanting to be stubborn in your usual routine or your usual place that you go. And it's like not seeing the potential value that could be there in trying the new restaurant. Maybe that'll become your new favorite place, or maybe you won't even like the food, but it'll still be worth it for the company that you have around you. Yeah, 1 second. I just need to close the door. I'm getting really distracted by something, so I'll be right back. And so going on that metaphor I was talking about with getting food, like I feel like there could be a desire to isolate or miss out on opportunities and kind of just want to find other people that want to go to the place that you want to go to. But then it's like, those might have been the right people for you to spend more time with. They may have had a purpose. There was a purpose for you being invited to the dinner plan, you know, and Spirit wants you to be more open to realizing that even though you might not see it in the first moment, that may be the most advantageous thing for your goals as well. And it's realizing that your goal can be benefited by being more open to exploration and playful energy, and that playful energy of being open to new things, like almost like a child trying a new food. It's like children are constantly open and not judging of what's coming before them. And that's like that inner child energy, where as we get older, we get even more, I want to say solidified or crystallized into our personality and our preferences. And I feel like Spirit's saying that that's like a natural process of aging, but don't lose that connection to that part of you that, which is still alive within you, that is open to new things, that despite all the experiences you've had, there's still more learning to do. There's still more exploration no matter what age you're at. You know, there's still more to learn. And this is kind of the energy, sometimes when I'm talking to my dad, he talks about how he's just not social anymore. You know, it's like he doesn't care as much to socialize. And it's kind of reminding me too of like the difference between like college age people, where it's all about getting to know different people, different majors, different backgrounds. It's like you're in this meshing pot of different cultural backgrounds of people, and like the fun energy of that, of exploring that, and how much you get to learn from that, and how much you gain from connecting to different energy, not losing a passion for that. I feel like the truth of your situation is that you're being called to be open again, like that, like open in the way you might have been in college, to getting to know different people, where everyone's trying to make friends. And so there's this very open-hearted energy versus the energy of already being an adult, where it's almost like you feel like you've experienced everything you need to experience, or you feel like, why would I go out of my way to explore, because I'm already so crystallized in what I think about things. We also have a change in the wind in reverse. And so for me, there's an energy here of resisting the shifting of the times, resisting flowing with what's changing around you, and it causing a disconnect between you and other people. It's causing a blockage to vulnerability and intimacy, and how, you know, there also was this energy of we're all mad here. This card really talks about how so many of us walk around trying to just prove that we're normal, prove that we have it all together. And sometimes that blocks vulnerability. It's like not realizing that sometimes our most likable traits, or the things that really connect us with other people, are our eccentricities, are our scars, you know, and realizing that there is such a pressure in society to appear successful and like perfect. And it's kind of like giving me like this social media energy too, where it's like we're all trying to present our best selves, but truly the most interesting connections happen when we're being vulnerable about our flaws, about our weird things about us. And it's about being open to sharing that and realizing that that's actually the key to like real genuine connections. It's not about two people proving to the other person that they're the most normal and that's why they should be likable. It's almost like there's so much potential to share yourself without needing to be perfect. And like this is this Virgo energy too, of like perfectionism kind of coming through, and maybe being so critical on yourself that it's hard for you to not be critical to other people. And it's almost like the more you embrace that, you, no matter how long you've been on the planet, you're still weird and you still have these weird things about you that are still a part of who you are, and other people have that too. And I feel like as society's getting, I feel like the newer generations are even more vulnerable and even more eccentric and embracing of that. So we have like this Aquarius energy here too, like the star. It's like we're moving into the age of Aquarius, you know? And so I feel like it's about getting with the times and realizing you can afford to explore this no matter where you are on your journey. Okay, so we also have the order, communication, confidence. We have the patron, mentorship finances. We have the Sailor new influences wanderlust. And we also have the Tailor attention to detail and pride. And so with these cards, there's an energy here of Spirit wanting you to take off the mask of who you think you are, to take off the scripts that we've memorized. It's kind of an energy of like, I'm also being taken to like this book I've been reading about like Zen, and how Zen students go to their gurus and like the guru will test them and say, who are you? And then they'll respond and say, oh, I'm like, I don't know why Benjamin Button. Oh, that might be kind of interesting. Benjamin Button coming through. How he ages backwards. Wow, that's so interesting. And I feel like what Spirit is saying is be like Benjamin Button, who as he gets older, he's becoming younger and he's becoming more open. And so I feel like there's this energy here of not letting the script of who we see ourselves to be to close off potential ways to connect with other people. And I feel like with the patron mentorship and finances, you may have a lot you could share to these people that maybe are different from you, that maybe they're a generation below you, but don't underestimate. Oh my gosh, they're literally starting to do the gardening work around right now, so it's getting louder. And I feel like there's so many like interruptions to this reading, and this feeling of like almost just wanting to give up on getting the message across. And I feel like that's the exact opposite of what you're meant to do, you know? And I feel like this keeps coming through because a part of me, and with this Sailor in reverse, I feel like you're being encouraged to stick to whatever your current situation is and to not see the challenges of the differences between you and others, meaning that you shouldn't lay roots, or meaning that you shouldn't invest further, meaning that don't try to just move on because it's getting challenging, or it's frustrating how people are, maybe you're perceiving them as being not cooperative because they're being themselves or they're being authentic. And I feel like it's giving me this energy of like, when we have been forced to play a certain role, and like we've been forced to disown our like childlike energy or the things that make us different, we can sometimes have a small resentment for people who don't have to do that. And so it's kind of this energy of like the elders being frustrated at like how rude the young people are being because they're not adhering to some sort of script that they should be following. And it's like, I feel like our times are becoming even more open and flexible. And I feel like there's a need to not see that as a threat, and to see that as, how can I work with this? How can I let this teach me something? Maybe I still have something to learn. Maybe I can still shift and change. You know, I'm not set in stone yet, you know, like you're not solidified. Like allow yourself to still be plastic. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm gonna keep filming after the yard work is done, so I'll be back. I will get through this reading. Okay, I am back now. Hopefully there won't be any more interruptions. But let's just keep going. I'm going to pull the rest of the cards that we have. So we have It's Time for a Treat, Magical Space Clearing Time, A Time for Spirit. And then we also have, Strategy here. We have the second chakra, Archangel Ariel. And then we also have Deceit. So let me just make sure everything is here. I'm going to put these up here. All right. So I feel like what's going on here, the truth of your situation is that this situation, your circumstances, the people around you, you may be right now very externally focused on what that is, what it looks like on the surface. But I feel like the real truth of this is that this is encouraging you to go within and ask yourself, am I being honest with my feelings? Am I really authentic with myself? Do I allow myself, do I embrace my entire self? And if I'm feeling triggered by these other people, or if I'm feeling frustrated by it, what does that tell me about my own relationship with my own inner child. And I feel like right now there's kind of a creativity block that is going on in your life where it just feels like you may even feel stuck right now or confused about what your path is, but I feel like Spirit's telling you the truth of the situation is to stick with whatever this situation is. Isolating yourself or wanting to get away from it would be robbing yourself of an opportunity to clear out any blockages within yourself in regards to your own creativity, in regards to your allowing your emotional truth to guide you more. I feel like you may have a sort of perfectionistic or a rigid sense of what you're trying to achieve. And I feel like it's time to ask yourself if you can find a deeper, more fulfilling goal within you that could make all of this worth it, that could make it make more sense to you to get through these more challenging conversations, to interact with these people who are different. And I'm also getting this energy of a metaphor where with new technology, I feel like Aquarius can also talk about like ushering in new changes in strategies of communication, and how people that didn't grow up with computers in their life, there's sort of a wall between the generation that had iPhones growing up and that didn't. And for example, like my mom, she's completely given up on trying to really know how to work a computer just because it wasn't something that was a part of her foundation growing up. But then she limits herself to what everyone else is getting from that technology, because if she's already told herself she's too old to figure it out, or she can't, it's not the way I like to do things. And it's like almost this energy of wanting to stick to like an outdated method that you know has worked for you, but there may be a more efficient energy or a more efficient tactic that it would benefit you to be open to it. And it's like there's an energy here where like the people around you, there actually could be more for you to offer each other. Like, for example, you could offer people your wisdom that you've learned throughout time. And there may be people where their weak spot is that they are the novice, or they are, yes, they're like adaptable and quick learners, but you know, they may need guidance from someone like you, and you may have a lot to offer them where they could teach you how to use the computer. And like, not saying you don't know how to use a computer, but it's just like realizing that letting things shift won't completely eradicate your values and what you've learned, but there's always ability to keep learning, keep growing no matter where you are. And I feel like something that you're trying to achieve, or something that would bring you a lot of fulfillment, requires the support of other people, requires being open to other people's way of doing things. So there's a collaboration. It's not that you should abandon what you already know, but it's about being balanced within your practical energy, but also being open to new inspiration. And with this buffalo here, this card talks about being grounded yet spiritual. And so I'm going to read the buffalo because I feel like it's very relevant to the truth of your situation. This is the energy you're being guided to embrace, this buffalo energy, along with the otter, but especially this buffalo, like realizing that you can be both of these things, realizing that the spiritual kinds of people that are maybe more out there is a way that each can work together, and we don't have to eradicate one side for the other to be right. They can help each other. So it says, grounded yet heavenly, practical yet spiritual. The hooves of the mighty buffalo are grounded in the earth, yet its heart and mind rise towards heaven. That's what I'm seeing Spirit is wanting you to embrace, because it's possible to be grounded and to be ambitious and to be logical, yet having your true north node being this higher power, integrating the heavenly inspiration. Your heart and mind can rise towards heaven. And I'm getting so above as below, you know, and seeing that there isn't so much. Maybe it appears different, like the polarities of masculine and feminine, the polarities of the world and heaven, like, but where's the intersection, and what can you gain from channeling from above to below? Like, there's a need to, I'm getting the Magician's energy. I feel like your true power in this situation lies in you taking advantage of all four suits and not neglecting one and over exercising one of the other muscles. So another one we have is the buffalo sees a challenge, hardship, or a bump in the road as an opportunity for upliftment. And so you're being encouraged to be like the buffalo and not see the challenge, not see the hardship or the blockages as you're being encouraged to see it more as that, to see it as an opportunity to grow, and further your path. It says, therefore, the buffalo does not fear death, illness, or misfortune. Its gentle eyes look to the road ahead, trusting every turn. May all experience this elusive yet life-changing bliss from time. It says, may we all experience this elusive yet life-changing bliss from time to time. And may we allow this card to remind us that life is a precious gift. And I feel like it's about remembering the magic, even though we are grounded in these bodies, and even though we're in a dense 3D reality, like, the higher chakras are still important. And I feel like you're being encouraged to embrace like the 7th chakra, which is the chakra of remembering that we're all one. And it isn't all about our individuality and just creating security. It's that we actually create more abundance the more open we are to collaborating and seeing how we contribute to the whole and seeing what we have to bring to the whole and what the whole has to bring to us. So it says, trusting pure presence. And then when out of balance, restless, lacks gratitude. And so I feel like Spirit's wanting to zhuzh up your energy, if anything, is what I'm seeing. So let's go into tarot now. I definitely am excited to go into that because I feel like it's going to clarify a little bit more. I'm going to get my water. And so I feel like you're being encouraged to not be overwhelmed by how you're feeling and to recognize, even if you are feeling frustrated by what certain people are bringing out in you or the frustrations of the situation, like, I feel like Spirit's encouraging you to embrace that and to not sort of suppress it, but to work with it and realize that it doesn't mean that your voice shouldn't be heard. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't value what you're feeling about things, but it's like, how can you not be overwhelmed by the fact that maybe something is making you feel a type of way, or maybe someone being different or having different ideas of what they want to do. Maybe it is triggering you, but it's like, what is that telling me about myself? What is that telling me about what I need or what I want to say? And not, it's about letting yourself be authentic. And maybe that's something you don't feel as comfortable with, but like what I'm also feeling here with this throat, with the blue calcite, this is all about the throat chakra. And so I feel like you're being encouraged to speak up, to embrace communication. And with the heart chakra, it's like realizing that letting other people into your heart and not closing off your connection with others due to like an overactive solar plexus, which is the I am energy, and not seeing anything as a threat to that, and realizing that connection isn't a threat to take away your individuality or to tell you that your way is wrong, you know? It's more like, how do we benefit from people being different? How do we benefit from all of the different variations of form in this world, you know? So let me just get some tarot. Let's see. So what is the truth of pile number 3's current situation? And this magical space clearing time talks about really getting to the bottom of how you're feeling about things and not allowing stuck or stagnant emotions or energy to block how you're able to express yourself. And with it's time for a treat, I feel like Spirit's saying, like, you don't need to be all work. Like, allow for there to be a playful energy in this situation and recognize that the act of creation is only possible with destruction. Like, they go hand in hand. And if we aren't allowing our energy to shift, if we're blocking the flow of destruction which is the natural process of life, like change and creation is literally only possible if we allow for deintegration and destruction so we can create anew, you know? And so I feel like you're just being encouraged to let certain parts of yourself break up a bit and realize that that doesn't mean, to realize that that's going to free up your ability to create more easily. All right. What is the truth of pile number 3's current situation? We have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. We have the 5 of Swords in reverse. We have the 5 of Cups. We have the Empress. We have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And we also have the 7 of Swords in reverse. And the King of Wands at the back of the deck, yeah. So what I'm seeing here, the truth of your situation is that there are certain experiences I feel like you've had in your past that need to be processed and need to be acknowledged. And with the 7 of Swords in reverse, this is about dropping any strategy that you may feel like you need to protect yourself, and to realize that with the 5 of Swords being here in reverse, that talks about self-limiting beliefs that aren't true about ourselves and other people. And I feel like there's a need to recognize that your external life shifting, that there's inevitable changes that may look negative, but separating what's going on externally from what that means about you, and recognizing that just because maybe certain situations are bringing grief or disappointment, you know, that doesn't mean that you should internalize that as a personal deficit. It's that this is just, there's certain things we can't control. And it's about kind of just surrendering to whatever changes are coming in your external life, and to not let those be, to separate the internal, your reliance on the external needing to be a certain way for you to feel internally confident and internally directed. And so Spirit's saying that there's a real potential for whatever's going on to cause you to internalize it as something that's victimizing you or attacking you. And it's almost like this energy of needing to realize that it isn't doing that. And I feel like with this 9 of Pentacles in reverse, for me, I'm getting this like hyper independence energy, or there may even be an energy where you may be used to kind of overworking or pushing yourself past your own limit in order to preserve your independence or your value as a person. And I feel like what Spirit's telling you is that there's a difference between this Empress energy who allows themselves to receive and doesn't feel like their worth is dependent on proving themselves. It's like the Empress is in this receptive energy of knowing they're innately worthy of abundance. And it's like being in tune with that and being receptive, and recognizing that being open and receptive to what comes your way is not the same as you then needing to be like dependent or codependent with the people around you. It's that learning how to be receptive and open without letting that make you feel vulnerable, without letting that make you feel like you aren't enough on your own. It's not saying that. It's like the Empress knows that the Empress allows herself to be nurtured by others and by Mother Earth, and it's a receptive energy essentially. And it's one that doesn't feel like they have to go out and create their success. They attract their success to them. And the Empress is the mother, it's the nurturer, and realizing how much you can attract to yourself when you feel like you don't have to do everything alone. And how that's actually a very abundant energy that's going to help shift your circumstances. It's not going to put you in a more vulnerable position to, if you allow yourself to open up and express your needs to other people, they may just bring you what you need. And there's no need to feel weakened by that or to let that make you feel vulnerable. There's a real juxtaposition of needing to balance strength with vulnerability and integrate both of those parts of yourselves. Without feeling that by embracing the receptive energy, you're less powerful, you know, or anything like that is kind of what I'm seeing here. So We also have door to romance. Yeah, I feel like there's a need to see that not everyone's love, or letting yourself be vulnerable and authentic, and opening the cage to your heart doesn't have to be something that ends up controlling you, or you don't have to become enmeshed with the environment. I feel like it's realizing the healthy balance of masculine and feminine energy, and recognizing that being in your feminine energy, being in touch with your emotions, expressing them, will serve you. It won't block you. It won't, you don't have to expect something negative to happen if you do that, is what I'm feeling. And I also feel like it may be time to open your heart to a lover potentially. And it may be something that you may be unintentionally blocking because of this need to be independent, or feeling that it's saying something negative about you. And I also want to make it really clear that I'm not judging this energy whatsoever. And this is a very safe space. And I just hope you never feel too criticized, because that is definitely not my intention. It's to help you see where maybe you could make your life easier through trusting that you can be vulnerable with other people, trusting that you can trust to open up and receive, and that you don't have to do everything on your own. You don't always have to have a strategy to avoid disappointment. I feel like there's kind of an energy here of being afraid of dropping your agenda, or dropping your need to kind of be strategic. And it's almost like you're afraid that's going to lead to disappointment, that you may even be afraid other people will always disappoint you. But I feel like in order for you to really carry out the vision and that you're meant to achieve in this life, there's a need to allow yourself to flow and receive, and allow others to help you on your journey. And it's like, it's better not done alone as well. I also wanted to show you this quote. Spirit told me to show you this. I'm just going to read it to you. And this is something that's just kind of reminding you to never feel like it's too late to open up this energy. So this is a picture that I have, and it says, it's a quote that I love from Scott Fitzgerald, and it says, "For what it's worth, it's never too late, or in my case too early, to be whoever you want to be. There's no limit. Start whenever you want. You can change or stay the same. There are no rules to this thing. We can make it the best or the worst of it. I hope you make the best of it. I hope you see things that startle you. I hope you feel things you've never felt before. I hope you meet people who have a different point of view. I hope you live a life you're proud of, and if you're not, I hope you have the courage to start over again." This is what you're being encouraged to embrace, like case in point, 100%. So I don't know, I would screenshot this and remind yourself of this, and to realize there's so much to be gained by being open to reinvention and being open to the shifts that you may need in order to be your best self, in order to reach your potential. And I'm also seeing here to not allow, with the Five of Wands here, to not allow the fear almost of different perspectives, different people, to block your potential for a new beginning. I love that we have the Fool here. You can always start over. And it's like, you may not want to start over, but maybe you're required to start over, or to be a little bit more open to this Fool energy. And the Fool is also ruled by Aquarius. I feel like you're really being encouraged to open up to the star energy, the unique energy of Aquarius, of an age where we're allowed to be different, where we work with other people's differences, and there's actually even more potential there to preserve your individuality. And it's about being confident in who you are without needing the external to prove how independent you are, or to not see other people's different perspectives as meaning that they're not able to be on your side or be on your team. It's about allowing yourself to understand other people, and allowing other people to understand your unique position without thinking that's going to weaken you, or without thinking everything's going to fall apart if you do that. So yeah, okay, let me get a couple of these oracle cards just to finish off the reading. And then for the extended, we're going to be going into what specific actions or energy Spirit is guiding you to embrace in order to shift this situation for your highest good. Like diving into more practical advice for what to do in this situation. I feel like we've really laid out what your current circumstance is, but what can you do or not do, you know? And so we're going to go more into what strategy would work best for you here, what you're really being guided to embrace in order to make the best out of this. And then we'll be looking at what's going to be shifting in the next 3 to 6 months in this situation, just to get a look into the future and kind of let you know based on the current energy how things are shifting. So I'll have that link down below if you are interested in getting more advice on this. But let's just finish up the reading with a few of these cards just to see what are the root energies of pile number 3's current circumstances. What are the root themes in the current circumstances? It says, I forgive myself for not knowing where to invest my passion or attention. I choose to believe that when I give myself permission to change my mind as needed, I strengthen my relationship with myself and clarify my deepest desires. And recognizing that feeling this confusion, sometimes confusion and blockages are divinely orchestrated so you can deeply clarify what you want your strategy to be, and to get deeper in your why. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a need to clarify your why for your goals and to make sure that they're aligned with your deepest authentic desires and truth, and to not feel like it's saying something bad about you for things to be changing. It's allowing yourself to change your mind, allowing yourself to shift. You don't have to stay loyal to goals that are no longer in alignment with you. It's about recognizing which goals are no longer real for you and not lying to yourself about what you're maybe needing to see about how you're feeling about things. If something isn't fulfilling for you anymore, it doesn't mean it's a weakness to pivot, and trust that you will be supported as you clarify what's in your highest good, what goals are in your highest good. So it says, I forgive myself for thinking I need proof I've chosen correctly before I'm allowed to enjoy what I have. I choose to believe that what is happening now is precisely what should be happening. I align with my deepest desires when I allow myself to enjoy what is already mine. And so I feel like there's also an energy here where, again, this is kind of like what Spirit is trying to tell you is that everything you've achieved up until this point still deserves to be celebrated and acknowledged. And even if things are shifting or things are starting to not work out, it's still in alignment. And I feel like the more you acknowledge what you want more of and what you already have, the more you'll be able to continue to align with what you want more of, and to not feel like everything was for nothing, or to not feel like a failure for the way things are shifting externally around you, and I feel like there's also this energy of feeling like if people want to change things or people want to do something different, it doesn't mean that what you've already created, maybe it's like different from what they would want to create. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be proud of who you are and what you've created until this point as well. It says, I forgive myself for distrusting my ability to provide for myself and give myself all that I need. I choose to believe that even when there's no proof, life is supporting me and elevating to the next chapter of my divine adventure. And there's always enough with this 36 card here. Yeah. And it's like there's a fear of regretting, of taking an action or taking a risk or being open to something different. And there's a fear that by letting yourself shift, you may lose security in the world, or you may lose abundance. But the Empress energy is one that trusts in the universe's always having your back. The universe always has your back. It's not all on your back. It's not up to you. And the more you align with that truth, the more external support you'll see, And then we also have, I forgive myself for expecting others to carry out the experiences I feel would bring me joy. I choose to believe that each individual holds a unique energetic signature they were born to embody, and I best support them by holding space patiently without expectation. And so it's about being patient and accepting and open to other people's truth, and not feeling threatened by other people choosing differently than what you would have wanted. It's recognizing that that's no threat to still how you feel, just because someone else feels different about the same thing doesn't mean that the way you feel about it's any less valid. And there's no need to push people to fit into a box, letting people break out of whatever expectations you have for them is going to be the best thing. So, Yeah, that's what I'm getting for you guys. So now we're going to go into the extended to get you guys some more specific guidance. But the last thing I want to say is we do have the Painter card here, which is productivity and creation. And this card really talks about how in the process of creation, even living our lives is a process of creation. It's so important to never stop that flow of destruction creation. And no matter what we've created in the past, by trying to preserve that or hold on to that, because maybe there was a happy time in that, or maybe there was a time where you felt really successful and confident, like everything was going for you, that still has its beauty. But if we stay fixated on what we've already created, we block our ability to create anew. And so you're just being pushed to keep creating anew, keep being open, despite what you've already created, despite what it doesn't take away from what you've already created to let it change, to let yourself change your vision, so that's what I'm seeing. So, if you guys found any value in this, I would love if you guys could hit the like button. If you have an extra second, I really appreciate every person that does that. I also love your guys' comments. It's great feedback for me. And if you guys want to see more, love and guidance readings, I would love for you to subscribe, join the community. So I hope you guys are doing well. I really appreciate your time and presence, and I hope to connect with you again soon.